I don't want to get caught. I want to be a Toys R Us kid.
I kind of forgot the jingle for it for a second.
Oh, it's lives rent free in my head
Oh,
in
okay.
perpetuity.
Oh, okay.
Hello, welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, what did we just get out of seeing?
We just got out of seeing Roofman.
Yes, Roofman.
Oh, did I say Roofman? Roofman.
Oh
That's
no,
it.
did you say Roofman?
I'm pretty sure I did.
No, oh no. There could be multiple Roofmen. They're inspired by this wonderful tale. It's just like, you know what? I want to be that guy. I want to cave in some roofs and give people my coat when they get cold in some walk-in freezers.
What is happening? What is this intro?
No, we saw Roofman. This recent, like, I want to say just kind of period piece small movie.
Yeah, it's based on a true story about a guy who basically lived in a Toys R Us running away from the cops.
Yeah, he was a guy that would break into McDonald's, Burger King, like all these places, and because after his time in the military, he wasn't making ends meet. His life was kind of falling apart. So yeah, as any reasonable person would think, let's rob everything.
Rob a Toys R Us specifically, too.
This was based on, as Annmarie said, a true story. And something, this isn't much of a spoiler, but at the end of the movie, they actually kind of show footage from the actual coverage of the event and like the whole period of which the roof man was a character and actually in our world.
I thought that was so cool. I love when documentaries do that, when they get the real life people in it at the end and just interview people. I think that's just it's like a cherry on top for me.
Technically, isn't it kind of like a biopic, this movie, in a way?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It's not really something I was like thinking about, but yeah, I guess if you were to put like an exact pinpoint of what genre, it's like, yeah, biopic.
Yeah, it's definitely a biopic then, yeah.
So this movie is directed by Derek Cianfrance. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And if you don't know him, he did like Blue Valentine and Sound of something. Oh,
Metal.
yeah, Sound of Metal. Those are the only two films that kind of ring a bell for me in my head with him at the moment. But yeah, most importantly though, it stars Channing Tatum, the star of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that come from you.
Sorry. I'm just saying, listen, all us girlies, we all had a crush on Channing Tatum, and she's the man. So, what if I said Kristen Dunst and you went, mm-hmm?
I mean, to be fair, that's exactly what I was going to do. So guilty as charged there. My girl Kirsten Dunst is in this movie, and we all know from our Civil War review that gosh, childhood crush right there.
Yeah, it's a shame she's married to Jesse Plemons.
Gosh, what a lucky man.
I'm kidding. It's not a shame. Very happy for
What a
him.
great couple though they are.
They are.
They're wonderful. Yeah, it's also got like some great side characters in here, played by Ben Mendelsohn, Juno Temple.
Dinklage.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage. I mean, it really is a great, supporting ensemble cast. And that's something that the marketing didn't show either. Lakeith Stanfield as well, just all these great actors. Like the marketing does put their names in there, but I noticed that a lot of the names that they were showing that we didn't really see in the trailers.
Yeah, Channing Tatum's definitely like the pull for a lot of people, I would say.
Right. Him and Kirsten Dunst.
But the trailers really did get me because
Yeah.
I was like super excited to see this, and I'm like, why am I really excited to see it? But I thought it was great. Like I laughed. When I like get angry at like the character, I think that just shows like, oh, they're doing a good job. So
Yeah, I gotta say this is definitely one of my favorite Channing Tatum roles.
oh, come on.
Really?
I don't know. I was trying to think of something funny like 21 Jump Street or
Oh,
something, but
well, I mean,
no, I like him in this.
yeah, 21 Jump Street, he was great in too, but I mean, like, when we're talking about, like, a true performance, from an actor here, I think, and yes, performances
You don't
that's
like
great.
his dance movie?
What dance movie?
Uh,
Oh, Magic Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, now that doesn't live rent-free in my head, obviously. That could dance its way right out in the emergency exit, but strip it away from me, please.
No.
But no, yeah, I think this is definitely probably my favorite performance of his, right next to like Gambit.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Channing Tatum has really transformed as an actor because I think very early on he wasn't taken seriously, probably because of the movies he was doing and everything. But now I feel like he's becoming such like a real actor, and I really appreciate that about him.
Yeah, no, I think like listen, I think what he's done in the past has been, really solid and in fact sometimes, really good. Here, though, yeah, the past few years, he's really elevated it, really brought it to the table here, and, this performance here in Roofman, I was really impressed by, especially there's one scene in this movie where it's really just 2 people staring at each other for a long time, and just how it's conveyed, not only through the direction, but just through the acting performances in that scene that's so simple, but, like, really gets you.
Yeah, I mean the relationship that Channing Tatum's character has with Kristen Dunst, it's so like I really bought them as a couple, and it was so like it just felt so heartfelt. I was really cheering them on the whole time, even though he's a criminal. I was like, wow, I just want them to fall in love. So
That's right. We have no sense of morality here in
I'm
cassette
sorry.
tape. The law means nothing here on these
They're
tapes.
so cute together.
Tell that to the judge.
Yeah. Judge.
It was just meant everything.
But, like, it felt so real. I think
Mm.
that was the part of it. You know, when there's, like, documentaries or biopics and they just over exaggerate it so much, I felt like in this one, I was like, there's not many times where I felt like this couldn't or wouldn't have happened in the real story.
There are so many times in, like, biopics and, these movies based on true stories where they, of course, have to or try to emulate, what really happened, but then there's, of course, dramatized, features, and they're like, "Oh, that didn't quite happen that way, but it looks good for the camera,"
Mhm.
kinda thing. Here, there's a lot of elements that we didn't realize till afterwards when they were kind of relaying the actual footage and the interviews during the credits, with the people involved. Like, a lot of the stuff did happen in a very similar fashion to how this movie went down, and, like, down straight to the vibe of how it made you feel, and it
Mhm.
it really, I think, worked here with making you feel like in the era that was in, the time it was in, the vibes, the people, everything, and down to how the cinematography worked where it was shot on film.
Yes, that was a interesting part of it too because so this movie takes place in I think 2004, 2006?
Yeah, somewhere around there,
Something
early 2000s.
yeah, somewhere around there, and I really liked that it was shot on film too because it just felt like it was during that time.
Yeah, and that's something that, we've brought up in the past, like when you should do that, like for the sake of a period piece, or is it more transcendent and immersive to do that, where you're shooting with the highest quality cameras and it's
Mhm.
digital and you're getting every pixel in there, even though it's a movie that takes place in the 1800s or something like that, right? So it's very interesting with when a director or cinematographer decides to use film, and to this movie, I think it's definitely a benefit. It really immerses you in that time period, and especially as, the camera's going through the little halls and, aisles of a Toys R Us from that time, it really, because I visited Toys R Us quite a bit as a kid, I don't know about you.
We all did.
Yeah, like,
We all did. We lost something so special to us.
our money.
I meant that Toys R Us went out of business.
Oh, right, yeah, 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 me too, me too. I would always go in there, I remember, like, the Revenge of the Sith setup and everything, I would always flock there or, like, went there for my Pokemon, mystery gifts or whatever, but, it just that place has so many memories for me there, so to see it executed here in such an interesting fashion as such, like, an interesting vessel for these characters to kind of work their narrative in through with the storytelling they were utilizing by shooting it on film, it just really kind of brought me back to that moment.
Yeah, it definitely had like a 2000 nostalgia feel in a weird way of how in the world did this guy get away with so much? And it was like, oh yeah, we didn't have cell phones or we had the flip phones back then. So I don't know. I just really loved it in that sense that I just felt like it was so real.
Yeah, it it really like again, going back to the performances of the movie, I think that's really what sells the realism of the movie
Mm.
is just how they interact with each other, how they are introduced to each other, and just how natural it feels, and the dialogue even, where there's a scene where, Channing Tatum's character, Jeff, by the way, yes, his name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
For all you 21 Jump Street fans out there. Yeah, no, there's a scene in the movie where he's just getting together with a church group at a Red Lobster, and just his dialogue and just how he executes that dialogue in that scene is just so natural and just so real to just the kind of character that is. And like it wasn't too perfect, it wasn't too, bumbling all over the place, but it just felt so natural and authentic.
And it's Channing Tatum, so he just has the charm already. So the
Yes.
whole time I just felt like he was charming me. I was like, wow, like again, he is such a good actor, and he could have been like typecast for a really long time, and I think it's interesting that he is taking on different roles like this. And this is something like I don't know if this is Oscar coded where Channing Tatum could get a nomination, but I would be really happy if he did.
Yeah, I mean, if he did, I wouldn't complain at all. Like, I don't here's the thing, I'm not sure this movie is really gonna be nominated for anything,
No.
just because of the branding of it all, which is unfortunate because I feel like there's some really good performances here that I feel like could be nominated.
Yeah.
But, yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna be just probably something else. Like, I don't know, who knows the inner workings of what goes on in the academy and all that.
Maybe we'll have a Roofman 2 sequel.
Roof
Too Roof, Too Furious. Let me climb that.
I'm gonna break out and I'm gonna get every roof in this gosh darn world and it's gonna kill me.
It's funny that in the end you kind of learn about Jeff's fate, and he tried to escape 2 more times from prison.
Yes, like and that's not something that's like part of the main narrative. Like so that's not really a spoiler or anything.
No.
But yeah, 2 more times after this whole situation goes down, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's either shows how incompetent certain areas of the system were, or just how brilliant his mind was.
It's true.
But it's such an interesting character study of just like how someone that is genuinely good at heart, gets put in a situation like that.
Mhm.
And I think in a lot of stories we've seen, it kind of focuses more on the mental health side of it and just like how they can become more so like majorly antagonistic by the end of it all and they become truly more of a bad person. But here it's refreshing to see how it turns the tables on that, where
Mhm.
it's genuinely a good guy. He doesn't really have too much mental health issues. Like he's just this is the only way he can see to make ends meet, and he's trying to do the best he can. And I don't know, it's just very interesting and a refreshing take on that kind of story.
I didn't even really think about that. You bring up such a good point because it could have leaned into that, I think, more if it wanted to, but it didn't because at the end of the day, like this guy, like this roof man, is very intelligent, but just felt so normal. Like could just go get a beer with, and like again, we're praising Channing Tatum, but the writing as well.
Mhm.
It's just like I felt like I could go get a beer with this guy, and I understand how people got swindled into this a little bit more, but I totally agree. Like, I think it could have taken a different direction, and it didn't, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Something that's interesting though is or I was kind of expecting more of a catch me if you can kind of thing
Yeah.
going into this movie, but the movie kind of takes its time more so than a catch me if you can, where the pacing is more focused about like the heart home is where the heart is kind of
Mhm.
thing. And, I think that's great. I just think going into the movie, if that's why maybe at first it might have seemed like it dragged a little bit, but once you got the vibe of what this movie was going for, it's like, okay, no, I wouldn't consider that dragging. Just need to keep my expectations in check in regards to how this narrative unravels.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. So,
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Emery, I think it's about time we rate this thing.
all right, I'm ready for my score table. Is it score? I don't know, score sheet. Score, I don't know.
There, your
I'm buffering.
buffer. You see, like the little YouTube like circles.
Yes.
The one from the 2000s, of course. Out of 10, Tickle Me Elmos
Aww.
being beaten by a wiffle ball bat.
Oh.
How many would you give this movie out of 10, man?
You know what? I really did enjoy this movie. I don't think I really had expectations. I think the marketing did its job and made me interested in going to see it. And I think we've seen so bad marketing this year, like such bad marketing. And so I think this was really refreshing to go into a movie with no expectations and then be like, "Oh, this was really good. Like I really enjoyed it." I do think it's kind of slow at the beginning, but like you said, expectations in check. So I gotta give it a solid 8. I really did enjoy this film, and I think Channing Tatum's awesome, and I hope he keeps continuing to take these kinds of roles that aren't as like typecast too.
Yeah, it was really great to see him in this role here, where he's actually more of a main lead and not somebody's co-star. Really, just like truly the main lead, and it really works here. Now I got to give it. Gosh, I feel so bad like that. I've been constantly lingering about like 8, 9, 8, 9,
Yeah.
8, 9. Like I've been staying around there, and I feel like there's some people out there in our little community here that it's like, gosh, he really loves those two numbers. Like he could, I bet he just says that to play it safe. It's like, no, we've just gotten, some really good movies recently.
At least it's not 6, 7. So sorry, that was a dumb joke. I'll cut that.
Maybe we should go back to the early 2000s. Yeah, I got to give this movie a 9. I really, really liked it. And by the time it, came to its end, I found myself smiling. I just really dug the characters. The performances really came around, through and through. So by the end of it, I gotta say that Roofman gets a 9 out of 10 for me. And not just because I'm a sucker for Kirsten Dunst.
Okay.
But guys, those are our takes on Roofman, this new movie that's out. You can go see it, and definitely when you do see it, let us know what you think. Let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. Are you excited to see it? Yeah, have you seen it already? Because this movie's been out already.
Since Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, and there was I think this was actually one of them Green Unseen.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think so. So you guys probably seen it for a while, and you've maybe let it marinate in your head. So yeah, definitely let us know what you think about this, fun movie in those comments down below. But with that, Annmarie, I think that about does it.
Let's wrap it.
All right, guys, thank you again for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. We hope you haven't ejected thus far into the podcast, but whether you have or haven't, please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And Annmarie, let's go get some peanut M&Ms.
Oh, yes.